What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be ranking the roller coasters at Kings Island. As you know, this is a coaster channel, and we haven't been doing much roller coaster rankings. We actually haven't done any at all, so this is our first roller coaster ranking video that we have ever done. Ben, do you have anything else to say?
No, I don't.
Okay, so make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and we are going to go right into it.
And number 15, we got the Great Pumpkin Coaster. This is obviously a kiddie coaster, which is located in the kiddie area of the park. It really doesn't do much, but it does appeal to the younger audiences. But compared to the other coasters on this list, it just can't really do much. And therefore, that is why we put it at last place.
Moving up to number 14, we got the Flying Ace Aerial Chase. Once again, this is more directed towards the families, and it really doesn't have much to its layout, just some turns. It's actually kind of like a flying coaster, which is a little bit on the unique side, but it really doesn't do much to the lineup.
It's a little bit of a rough coaster. I've ridden it before. It's not very fast, but again, that's the point. It's supposed to, bring you up as you go, as you rise through the intensity of coasters. I'm not saying it's bad, it just cannot compare to the rest of the list.
That's why it's at number 14.
At number 13, we got Surf Dog. This is a Zamperla disco ride. It is considered a coaster on the Kings Island page, so that is why it is on this list. This kind of spins you around, you kind of go up and down. It's like a seesaw. Besides that, you don't really do much. There's one hill. It is a fun and more graceful ride, again, for the families, which is great. It just does not compare to the upper class rides that Kings Island has to offer.
And at number 12, we got the Woodstock Express. This is a family-oriented wooden coaster. It's not very tall. It's also not the fastest thing in the world, but it's got some stuff to its layout for the kids. It has some turns to it. It has decent airtime. It's just overall kind of, once again, directed towards the families.
It's in a figure 8 type layout. It is smaller, but it is a decent supporting coaster, especially for the families. Number 11, we have Adventure Express. This is a mine train coaster built by Arrow. The ride itself is a mine train, a little bit on the jerkier side, but it does have some decent moments, like that one lift hill where you have animatronics, lights up. That is cool. It's probably some of the best thing I see at the park. Even for being a mine train and family coaster, it still packs in a decent punch.
It is definitely a more intense mine train. The turns are pretty fast for the type of coaster it is, and overall it is just a solid mine train. And now we are moving on to our top 10 coasters. And these coasters start to get a little more intense, a little more to these coasters than what we previously mentioned. So at number 10, we got the Backlot Stunt Coaster. This is a launch coaster by Premier Rides. I find the coaster to be rather unique. It has some really brief launches, but the turns are quick, and it's a pretty fun coaster. It's more of an intermediate ride, but it is a fun launch ride.
At number 9, we got the Bat, which is an aero suspending coaster. There used to be another Bat, but because of maintenance and technical issues, they took it down and they built another one after. The layout is great. I do like the layout. It is one of the more intenser suspending coasters. I do really like the drop. It packs in a punch, and I do really like it. The only thing that I think that suffers here and brings it down is the fact that its duration is kind of short. You don't have much time to enjoy it.
Another downside is that it's kind of hidden in the woods, so you have to kind of walk a lot to get to the coaster. It's kind of out of the way. It's a pretty good aero coaster, though, aside from those small things. At number 8, we got the Racer. This is a dueling wooden coaster. It is one of the old-fashioned rides here. It is a really nice coaster. It goes over to Coney Mall. It looks really nice in terms of the theming.
It's got some decent airtime moments. It duels pretty much all the time, so that's a good thing to see. And it is a somewhat long ride. So at number 7, we got Flight of Fear. This is a launch Premier Rides coaster, spaghetti bowl layout. You're in the dark. You kind of go around doing inversions and turns. The launch is very sudden, and you don't really expect it all that much. It does pack in a punch. It is intense. The only thing that kind of draws me back is that it is a little on the rougher side.
One other thing to point out here, the trains are kind of small. Now, that really didn't impact us riding it, but that's just a little thing to keep an eye on.
But with that being said, it's still a great supporting coaster, and the theming is outstanding.
It fits really well in the area it's built in alongside the Orion, which we are going to talk about later. At number 6, we got the Invertigo. This is an inverted boomerang by Vekoma. Overall, I think out of all the boomerangs I've ridden, this is definitely the best boomerang. It's fast, it's pretty smooth.
It has great moments, like the Cobra Roll, even though it is a more simple ride, it's definitely worth waiting in line for because this is one of the more unique rides that you'll see. So I do really enjoy this, and it is a great coaster just in general, even as a standout or a supporting ride. So number 5, we have Diamondback. This is a B&M Hyper with a out and back layout. For its purpose, it is a great coaster. It's got a little bit of rattle to it. I mean, a lot of B&Ms have that rattle to it. I think they did a really nice job with this in terms of like setting and layout. Like, you get a lot of floater airtime on this. It's fun. It's graceful.
It's not necessarily the most forceful ride in the world.
Yeah, and it's not really. You're not getting a lot of ejector. You'll get some. The helix on there, I liked a lot.
The splashdown is also a really nice touch to the ride, aside from being picturesque. At number 4, we got the Beast. This is the longest wooden coaster in the world in terms of track length, and it's pretty long in terms of duration too.
It takes you on a journey to the woods. It does have a great night ride. If you ride it at night, it is insane. We did it at night. It was absolutely insane. It was intense. Not intense in the way you would think it is. It goes faster. Like, I feel like I was gonna fly out the trains for some reason.
Yeah.
Like it was shaky to the point where I feel like I'd fly out. And it wasn't really rough, but if you get that shakiness, it does give it a bit of intensity, and you definitely do feel a little excitement on that thing.
The tunnels in the helixes are just incredible, and there are 2 lift hills on the ride. It's almost like you're putting 2 rides in one. For it being 30 plus years old, it's still going very strong, and I enjoy it very much.
People say it doesn't really do much, and while by technicality it probably doesn't really do much, it is a great ride experience, and it is definitely worth waiting in line for because it's so iconic, and you can't miss out on it. Number 3, we got Orion, and this might be a surprise to some people. Some people put this lower, some people put this higher. Orion was, it's the newest Giga on the market. All Gigas are pretty fantastic. Again, another great Giga coaster. Definitely gets great moments, like, that one hill towards the end, it has some great ejectors. The drop is one of the best drops I've ever been on. I think the 2 things that underwhelmed me the most was that first wave turn. I feel like I was a little underwhelmed by that. I was expecting a little bit more. It was kind of just graceful more than anything.
Kind of just felt like a turn.
Yeah.
It just felt like not really much of anything.
Yeah. And the second thing that underwhelmed me was the duration, because it felt like a very, very short ride. It kind of felt like they were doing the bare minimum, and even for the height, they basically did the bare minimum at 287 feet, but have a 300-foot drop. It just feels like they're kind of trying to cut costs. Maybe that's not their intent, but that's what I felt like. It's a coaster of a few great moments and a coaster of a few average moments, but it's still good enough to the point where it ranks 3 on the list. So it's still worth riding, and I still do like it.
I will give Orion credit on this. It has really good theming, especially when it sits next to Flight of Fear, which we talked about earlier. It looks really good there. The color scheme hits awesome. At number 2, we got the Mystic Timbers. This is a GCI. Overall, it is a really nice ride. It's got intense turns. It's got great airtime, both floater and ejector. The theming for the most part is pretty good. The only thing I'm gonna mention though that is on the downside is the shed. I was disappointed with the shed, I'll admit, but the shed was at the end of the ride, so I don't really consider it to be the worst thing in the world.
The ride is very long. It's a ton of airtime. It's intense. Throws you around. I love it. It's my kind of coaster. Even if it's an out and back, it's still a very long ride. This ranks towards the top of my favorite coaster list. This is just an awesome coaster.
It could be considered the best wooden coaster in Ohio. Could be.
At number 1, we have Banshee. This is a B&M invert coaster. People consistently rate this towards the top of best B&M inverts, and I totally understand why, because this is just such an awesome coaster. It's the longest inverted roller coaster in the world by B&M. It's got inversions. It's got a pretzel knot. Love the color scheme. It's one of the most creative ones I've ever seen. It's intense. Again, it's my kind of coaster. It's just awesome. I mean, there's no way you could not like this ride. It is like awesome.
Not a lot of coasters have a tribute to the old coasters. Son of Beast was there before Banshee. There happens to be a grave sitting by the coaster that honors Son of Beast, and I thought that was a nice little touch. Small things kind of boost the whole thing.
This is our list on ranking the coasters at Kings Island. Feel free to post your lists in the comments below, share your opinions. Obviously, it's different for everybody. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, turn on notifications, and we'll see you guys in the next video.